Afternoon there, pirates. TSM from TFC Live. How you doing? Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock. Well, so I thought we'd have a little go at the Dark Rain campaign, version 2. We'll see how it goes. We'll give it a try. I've got a quick run through the first one, and it seems okay. So what I'm going to do is to just have a quick look here and see what's on. Feel free to come in the chat and that sort of stuff. All looking good, right? So like I said, first campaign, or first run price pack one's been done. Now, personally, I don't actually need to do this because I've got all the holes. However, I thought it'd be interesting to see the difference as well, because on my fleet I started up a DOS crew, which we're using a lot in the last raid. There you go, it's got 30 minutes left. So I wanted to see the difference between running the DOS crew and not running the DOS crew. So obviously during this, it's going to run out of time and that sort of stuff. But that's okay. It's alright, because I want to see the difference between using it and not using it on this campaign. Whilst yes, I've got Zoe's Apollo, so which is interesting for some people, because obviously that's one of the prizes in the prize pack. It has helped me quite a bit during the raid cycle, so I've quite enjoyed having that, I must admit. Before that, what I was using was the what was I using? I was using a Savage Kodiak lead, basically, and then dropping it in the corner and just running the 4 Apollos. But now, this is, whilst it's not actually doing a reload, it's giving massive buffs, which is quite handy. So, I think what we'll do is just quickly flip that down and make sure we're up and running here, which it should be good. Yeah, I think so. Just have a quick look at the chat. So yeah, we're all good. Excellent. So let's have a quick look, shall we? Let's launch the fleet. So I've got 30 minutes left on that crew there, so it's not too bad. So we'll start the campaign up, and we'll have a quick run through and see how these do. So we all know that counter one, it basically repeats itself. It just gets harder and harder as it goes along, or it just adds another level, that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's 5 runs to do. This is run 2. Run 1 I did earlier on, just to see that it was running smoothly, which it was. Now for me personally, what I'm using at the moment, I'm using a macro at the background. So and that macro quite simply allows me to control my ships and group them all together automatically. So I'm just going to turn it on, which you'll see a flicker of the screen, which it's done now. And here we go. So without having to press the mouse loads and loads of times for repetitive moves, when you're doing a 5-ship fleet, it's just far easier to turn a macro on, group up your ships, and then let them do their own thing. Then all I have to do is just move the mouse around. It's a bit like doing a dance with Apollos, to be honest. And you just glide around, so they're staying together grouped. All I'm doing is actually moving the mouse, because the macro is doing the rest of the work for me. It just makes gliding around the screen an awful lot easier. Quite a lazy way to look at DP, I suppose. Okay, there's number 1 done. Now for that, I need to turn that off. So I think personally this event's been excellent. To be honest, it was needed. Oops, let's move that way a little bit. It was definitely needed. Yeah, there's a lot of happy people at the moment, because obviously the holes that are in there are going to change people's games completely. And considering you're going to get 2 holes in the 5th run, if you can do it, And I would go all out to get it, because basically you're getting 2 raid holes in one campaign, in one sitting. You know, as long as you can complete that campaign in an hour, I'm not starting the best place. Then all's good. All's good in the world, as they say. Maybe, or maybe not. Depends really. You have the fleets. I must admit, if you've got Apollos, you should find this absolutely simple. I did see somebody try to run through it with a set of rhinos and a frosty, and he was struggling for obvious reasons. But even that individual, when I quickly PM'd them, said that they were going to battle through and even do a few coins, which they don't normally do, simply because they have the opportunity to get 4 really good holes. Which is the lead owner of the hole, and the Harlock sister. The so he's Apollo. And obviously the Vendetta was at the Wills. So you know, you couldn't really have a better campaign, to be honest. And I think actually the trade-off for damage versus your return here is phenomenal. Just check damage on that. So these lower tiers aren't really difficult for this fleet particularly. There we go, done. So yeah, I think personally it's been quite a good week in BP. The mega hole campaign's ongoing and that sort of stuff. I haven't noticed how you can see my countries there, and it's got plenty to go on yet. And I'm actually going to get some country tokens out of this as well, so it can help me. But I'm not overly fast on rushing through getting that done. But you know, if you're going to give me a week's worth of tokens, then I'll take the week's worth of tokens. It doesn't bother me. So I see that area of the game develop a bit further. I'm not sure how far I'm going to go into it, to be honest. But if it's interesting, then I'll clearly take part. I'd like to take part, definitely, because you know it's another string to the battle pirate's bow, as far as I'm concerned. The more action in the game, the better it is, as long as it doesn't come at too much of a cost. Alright, sure. I don't mind. So this is level 8. Dogs just running their news, and obviously just that's it. There we go, level 8 complete. For those who've got Apollos, obviously clearly you notice that by having Apollos, everything seems to go so much quicker. No damage, are you kidding me? Nothing. Okay. I enjoyed that round there. So this should be is this the first round that's got a mega ship at the end? I'm not sure. Look. I should imagine the mega ships are going to get harder and harder. Logic dictates me. It doesn't always. Ah, yes. Yes, I just came in. hi Dylan, how you doing? Sorry, there's a bit of lag there on the chat for some reason on the game. I'm not quite sure what happened there. No, there is nothing you can do to neutralise the scatterguns, to be honest, mate. It's a frustration, but then again, they've got to take some damage somehow, haven't they? Apart from evade, obviously, you can use a bit of evade. That does work. Let me have a quick look here. How much damage is that? How are we doing there? 2 minutes, so instant fix that. Yeah, how are we doing, guys? Yeah, the scattergun damage is not ideal, is it? To be honest, well, there is actually because it's corrosive, isn't it? And obviously, you can put corrosive buffs on your fleets these days. You can have a quick look at that. So, corrosive effect on the scattergun. 2 seconds then. Let's just have a quick look. We'll just go back in so no one snipes on a fleet. So what you can look at is the just have a quick look via the FM actually. So you've got some extra armors that are coming in now and that sort of stuff. I mean, here's one here, which is quite recent. So that's a corrosive defense one. So that's ideal. So corrosive defense are 18%. So that helps obviously because that's how scatterguns work. They're corrosive. So you know, and also you gain some siege deflection, some assault deflection. So you're going to gain from those towers 20, which is not a huge amount, but you're going to gain some more siege deflection. But obviously you've got your corrosive defense over 18%. So hey Jeff, how you doing? That's quite handy. So, but the problem is, how long are these targets going to be around now? I don't really know, to be honest. This armor's coming in quite late. While it helps, you know, and 18% for one plate is an awful lot. You know, it's a bit late in the day for it arriving. So, you know, whilst you could put it on, you know, your fleets for, I suppose you could do if you want to be getting hit in 91 and that sort of stuff. But the 91s for your Hyperion parts, your gantry parts, and titanium as it will be soon. It's they're not overly hard to do if you've got Apollos. I suppose if you're not using Apollos and you're getting to tier 5, you can get this armament plate, then yeah, it could be worth a refit. But I don't know, I think it's turned up a bit late in the game, to be honest. How long have we got left in this? 17 minutes, so let's finish off this round. So it wasn't coming at the best angle, obviously, in there at the top like that, so I'll come in. I'll come in at 5 o'clock base. Okay, that's a bit better. So one thing you notice is good. So as opposed to doing the shots and doing the reavers, whatever angle you attack the reaver at, it doesn't make any difference. You always go in at sort of like the 10 o'clock position. When you do a TLC, you can dictate where you start on these sort of campaigns, as in what angle you go in at, which is quite helpful. So I was hitting up at 1 o'clock, which is not a good position because it hits you straight on top of the one of the boats at the top there. You almost take rounds straight away, whereas here you've got a bit of time to speed your boats up. So this is level 10, so this is the last of the first targets in the first round, and the penultimate target now in this round. So I suppose there's quite a bit of stuff to do for people if they want to get shards, they want to do this. They've got Hyperions, they've got the FM to do. You might want to hit a base if you ever get time. You might want to go do some foundry work as well. We're gonna have another day at the office, isn't it? Another dull day this place. Yeah, me too, mate. Ghost crawler. I'll show you shards in a minute. I'm doing okay on shards at the moment. But one thing I am going to get is the ghost crawler, without a doubt today. That's definitely going to happen. I think the whole shard system is working much better now. I much prefer this, how it's been pushed out this time round. It was a disaster last time, I have to say. The inability to guarantee a drop, and the drop rate I thought was disgusting, to be honest. Highly unimpressed. I can go around for that top tower, but it's not taking much damage. Whereas this time you're getting 2 shards every pop, no matter what. A lot of people are confused on, I think, to be honest, on the targeting when you come out and it says ×1. It doesn't mean actually you've only got 1 shard. It means you've had 1 encounter. If you put your mouse over the top of that encounter, it'll tell you that you've got 2 shards. All you got to do is just go back into your limited blueprint drop, and then count your shards up before you start the campaign, and then count them again when you finished it. And you'll notice that you're getting 2 shards every time, because I did check that. Somebody did question that themselves. There we go. So there should be one more, I think, of this. Yeah, there is one more. So this one should be a mega hub, shouldn't it? To be honest, let's have a look at this. I'll recall that. I'll fix that quick for a minute, and then we'll look at the shards to see where I am. I've done quite a few. But Ghost Crawler's the main one. And I've saved up some, as I mentioned on the open mic last night, I've saved a couple of tokens. Just let that fix slow time quickly. So what I've done personally then, I've saved 2 ship tokens there. So that's 2 days worth. And if we go to the FM quickly, there you go. I'm still on reset. I can still reset if I want to. So I'm going to get in TF4, because down here, look, I'm going to get another set. So there's 4 days for the tokens straight away. And then we look at tier 5. Well, where am I in tier 5? So next week, that's going to be my first prize, and that'll be my second prize. So I'll not only get 4 2 lots of 2 in the tier 4, but I'm also going to get the random in the top, which will be ideal. So should start building the Ghost Crawler hopefully tonight, because I don't need too many shards. So I'm going to have 2 days off it, then I'm going to have another 2 days off it, and then when the FM resets, I'm going to get another 4 days off it from the tier 4 prizes. So that's 8 days off it. Then I'm going to get the tier 5 prize, which is going to be a minimum of 3 days. Could be 5 days. You know, and in the shipyard design mode, I'm not sure if no, I haven't saved it actually. So this is an old fleet, because I've got nothing else to build at the moment. I'm just putting some random stuff on it. So select whole. And there you go. So blank, it's 13 days. So by next week I'll have it done. So hey Stuart, how you doing? Yeah, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, so I am still hunting the Ghost Crawler, mate. But look at this. Look at this. This is quite, you know, I'm quite chuffed about this, to be honest. So look at limited blueprints and look at the shards. Okay, so there we go, 240, and we can get obviously 40 tonight if we want to. 20 encounters and obviously 2 shards per one, but I only need 10, so I need 5 encounters. It'll be good news. So I'm really pleased. So that'll be building this evening. So the first thing I'll be doing is getting those 5 encounters done with my Hellrow fleet, which I've built, which is here. But to be honest, I've just been doing it with 1 sub and taking the others out. So and I built this straight away without even waiting for the meniscus and that sort of stuff. So and these are working fine. They're a little slower than some other people's, but to be honest, I don't really care. Cloak efficiency is fine. I'm not getting seen by anything, and on one ship I'm getting used to it now. So yeah, quite happy. I can hit 3 of the the 100 series targets before I go in for repair. So it's working quite nicely. Anyway, how's this thing doing? We're doing good. So we'll speed up. So Dylan, sorry mate, you were saying about where can you find them? So they're at the portal towers, mate, basically. So yeah, every time you get the 5 towers you've got in the in each of the sectors. Because a lot of people are going to the dubs and that sort of stuff, and that's not where they are. So personally, then what I've done is relay towers. What I did personally was so in each world, what I've done is I've located the central one in 5 different worlds. There you go. So there's one there. And then basically, if you go out at the like across and just go 2 screens up, you should be able to find. There you go. There's the next one. Scroll back down 2 screens worth, back to the center tower, and then you can go down 2 screens worth again. And you should be able to see. There you go. And there's the next one. So if you just bookmark the central towers, it's an easy way then to if I go 2 screens this way. There you go. There's the other one. Back to the central tower again. And I've just go 2 screens this way. And there you go. So there you go. That's the quickest way to find them, to be honest. And then, as you can see in mine, there, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sectors. So 30 chances there for me. All right, mate. You did 23 minutes. Yeah, they're not too bad, mate. To be honest, I think the only thing that's missing in the game now. I mean, we're doing okay for most things, and this mission is this time of the campaign is basically, I think, put a bit of trust isn't the right thing. Interest. Ooh, someone's having a little battle. Someone's just been. Oh, we've got an insector here. Okay, I'll bear that in mind. That's life. It happens. I'll have to come out hot now, won't I? The this campaign has definitely spurred people on to have a bit of fun again and enjoy it, and not cost too much money, which is a nice thing as far as I'm concerned. After the absolute disastrous couple of weeks we've had with some really duff ideas, I think this is a bit of a face saver for Kixie personally. And it almost, what's the harm in all honesty? Yeah, okay, so I spent quite a bit getting my Zoe Apollo. Great, okay. Well, actually, its use was helpful. I helped my alliance a lot with it. I helped myself a lot with it. It saved me an awful lot of time, money, and effort. It's useful as now for the Hyperion, which is great because it'll help people with normal Apollos go and hit the 91s really, really cheap, almost instant fix. I can do them for about 30 minutes on auto, which will then spur them on towards that part of the game. Ideally, the fact they're getting it virtually for a giveaway, if you've got Apollos, you really shouldn't struggle too hard in this campaign. As you can see, it's not exactly difficult. I'm just dancing around the screen really. And I've seen guys do just one Apollo, so right, so you are getting four new holes that haven't been out less than 12 months. So that's like doing 4 raids in one, isn't it? For the cost of probably, I can't see anybody that's costing anybody more than 50 coins at the absolute outside. Yeah, Jason, I agree, mate. I absolutely think this is absolutely going to be a game changer for people. I really think the mid-level player, he's struggled his arse off. He's just got his Apollo's looking good, even though that raid format's coming to an end now. This is like throwing him a massive bone. It's hit the perfect weekend, absolutely perfect weekend for it as well. I'm genuinely quite impressed. But obviously knowledgeable in the fact that without this coming online, then actually there'd be a huge deficit in the game, because a lot of people then would only have one hull type, which is the Revenge, and you need two hull types to do the mastery, not the mastery, to do the basic campaign. That wasn't too bad, was it? So that's that one finished. Okay, so the only thing I got out of that was some more Gales, I think. Don't think I gained anything else out of that. What do we do for time in there? So 10 minutes. So we'll nip back in and we'll fix that up. Yeah. Because we didn't certainly can get. I mean, can you remember what the prize pack was in Dark Reign, the first one? Because I honestly can't remember, to be honest. So it didn't get this level of equipment. So that's the first two done with the. Obviously, I've got the DOS crew running on there because I don't really need them anymore. We've just got a few minutes to run. Yeah, so I was running these with the Savage Kodiak in the front there, as you've just seen it, and dropping that in the corner. But now I've obviously got the Apollo. Don't need it anymore. Yeah, I agree, because I mean, just I'm not sure if this is Stu's still there. This could be what fleet actually he was talking to me about, which is so that's my Vendetta build there, and I have them as a standoff fleet. They sit around the outside of the bases and then just pummel massively. I've changed them around with specials. I've gone back to Explosive System 4. I used to have an incendiary system, but there's a counter to that now, so there's no point in having that. And there's a couple of good specials on here that help with a few stacking issues, which sorts it out. All these things here definitely help out, and obviously things like building damage extensions, that sort of stuff. And obviously projectile speed, splash increases, that sort of thing. So cumulative effect for those are pretty good, to be honest. Splash up by 109 and 112%, which is quite good. And I've reduced the spread right down, so it's a real carpet bombing, as opposed to a carpet bombing which you can get with the incendiary system. I like that, because these are focused and they can take out ships quite quickly. Yeah, so war games will be quite good, and I've got two different Revenges here. So I've got one there that's for killing towers and that sort of stuff. So that one there's for, and I've got one here for killing ships. So it depends on what I need to come in first. Depends on what I hear. Right, okay, this thing run out. Anyway, let's get back to the job in hand. Yeah, combustion system 2 is quite good for the spread, but in fact that's horses for courses. It depends on how you drive your fleet, doesn't it, and how you want to do it. If you want to carpet bomb the area, a broad spectrum. I'm only just moving around because there's a guy obviously out on sniping fleets. So this is where I'm going to get my gantry tokens now. So deactivate, didn't it? Yeah, okay. And I've got some citadels built as well, which obviously the 109's come back. I'm going to be quite chuffed that I've actually got those. And as you saw, I've got the Harlock Cit already built as well, which is in my base, which is an excellent thing to use. Now this is just the same. We'll just go and smash this out. This is a really low level damage one, so I'm not going to bother driving. How lazy is that? just think of this guy trying to snipe fleets on something, which some people do and they think it's fun, so, you know, each their own. Yeah, I'm not sure why I went siege targeting over this actual upgrade, mate. I'm not quite sure. I'm sure there's a reason. Yeah, then let's macro this one, turn it on quickly, and kite some of these turrets. There we go, get 2 for 1, like that. Spin down there, take him out. Ooh, weak effort, wasn't it? Well, they've sorted themselves out, we'll go up and take this lot out. This is a ship. Here we go, job done. .30 odd seconds, that's not too bad, is it, eh? PK, he was on the chat last night. How many Ghost Guards did you see? I'm out chasing them. But he's going to prep them out, that's good of him, isn't it, eh? PK's always for the player. So I'm down to 10. 2 retributions for sniper. I've seen people doing that, baiting people with obviously their sniping subfleets and stuff, including Ghost Crawlers, where they'll put you know, retribution in slot 2 and 3 and that sort of stuff, and then just put a big fat ship as the lead ship, and then just wait for people to come and snipe them. That wasn't the cleverest place for me to come in, actually. That was not too bad this round, is it? Yeah. So you know, then what we've got to do is especially they put one of the speed crews on as well. And they can just chase down their subs and annihilate them in seconds, which is always quite amusing. I like that sort of stuff. But that's the game, isn't it? It's a risk you take. I wish they could bring FEF a bit more back into the game. It's the bit I miss the most. I know Stu's, if he's still there, he's a massive base hitter and that sort of stuff. So, but while I've hit bases periodically, so I think it's really exciting me, to be honest. I used to be an FEF player, but now it's just the repair costs for the fleets and all the other things we've got to do. It's just not enough time. Well, there is time, but I've got enough things to do as it is. Just trying to keep on top of things, which is inevitable in a game that's lasted so long. I've lost count the number of times people say, "Oh, it's dying, it's dying, it's dying." Well, if the game's dying, then so what? But at the end of the day, it certainly lasted a lot longer than anybody expected, I'm sure. I don't think it's going to die off anytime soon either. So you can see I'm in sector 400 myself at the moment, which is a busy old sector. But it's good because it means our sector bar is always in orange. Not always in orange, obviously it goes through cycles, but as soon as it's out and it's back into teal, it's in teal for like 10 minutes. And then back up to yellow and straight into orange in no time at all. And it just sits there. We always get a good 2 hours, which means everyone's getting plenty of 91s. ain't no bitching around our way. People just get on with stuff. A lot of people help out each other because it's a stress-free area. Everybody knows they can get what they need, so no one acts like an arsehole, which is quite good. Even insects generally get on with their business, and no one actually gives a rat's ass if the insect or not. It's not the end of the world, is it? Insecting is the same as hitting. It just means you can talk to the person that's hitting. So what? Who cares? It doesn't bother me. I know a lot of people get enjoyment out of insecting, that sort of stuff, but it's obviously a bit of you can have a comms war if you would choose to. You know, a bit long in the tooth and that sort of stuff. Yeah, we were talking about that, Jason. You're right, mate. It's a really good idea if they squeeze a couple of the worlds up, I think, and pack everybody into like 3, or happy to leave it at 5 if they want to, but then cut them down to maybe 50 sectors a world and not 100, and put the rest in the bank, and then free up some server space. And then work on stacking some of these targets so you haven't got so much crud on the seas. That's the only thing that's decent, I think, about having some sectors that don't have too many people in, is that clearly you can you get less game lag. There's all this rubbish, the gantries and the bloody targets and that stuff. It all just takes up. So it's the loss of this targets, and we're going to make a whole should be next. Did that start or not? No, it didn't. Let's have a look then. So we've got a game update coming up, haven't we? Another one released for Tuesday. Should be on time. Viking should be back in as well. And just see what it's about. Well, we know that can't be about the raid because the raid's another week at least away, so we shouldn't expect that release until the following Tuesday. Because the raid's been confirmed as the 15th and 19th. I'll tell you what would be nice this week is to have a preview, wouldn't it? That'd be good. A raid preview of some actual targets. Because we still don't really know what we're going to be facing. And, people like myself and quite a few people have now got their subs built ready for the raid. Which means it'd be nice to actually see some proper target, even if you just show us a couple of, an S target and a couple of A-level targets. Or one from each set maybe, I don't know. Just so we could stream to community what's coming, that stuff. I mean, we've known for a long time it's going to be a sub-raid, they've been talked about for 3 months now, so we still don't actually know what the targets are. But we do. We know they're Reaver, but that's not what I meant. Get a bit of lag here, but that's it. It's my own fault. Yeah. Running 2 screens and 3 different programs. Hey GW, how you doing, mate? You alright? I was just saying, mate, I don't know if I'm just glancing across to the right on my other screen, that seeing as it's pretty quiet next week, it'd be really nice to have a raid preview and get a preview up and running, or do 2 time slots like I did before. And I think it'd be better this time that if you got in the first time slot, that you wouldn't be able to log in the second time. So like do an hour and then stop it, and then somehow record those IDs that went in, and then do another hour and let other people come in as well. Make it a bit fairer. Oh, you're doing a Hellrave test, are you, mate? So I think, yeah, it would be a really good idea to run a preview. I think a B set Well, I mean, like I said, I've got kudos and I've got everything, so you know, I've kept all my subs. Mostly because I knew what format was coming some time ago, so I didn't have to recycle them, like kudos or anything like that. So I've got kudos and hawks, and although I haven't actually got specs anymore because they did a broadside and put an extra third slot in them, and I didn't think they'd be worth it. I thought it was just too slow, so I did actually recycle it. I'm not saying that according to say, I don't mind helping people, but not use 10 days of whole build time just to demo a set of specs. Where Nighthawks are almost, believe it or not, specs are better than Nighthawks, I think now, to be honest. They're a better hull. Yeah, so I'm thinking, you know, a preview raid next Thursday would be quite nice. Friday, maybe, on Friday. I quite like that. I'm sure quite a lot of people will like it. What we got here? Oh, 15 minutes. Okay. So which round are we on? I'm losing track here. So, different campaign. This is round 3, isn't it? So we've got 2 to go. Like I've already got the Harlock set and the Vendetta, which is ticked off. But obviously these are limited, which is why they're not ticked off, even though I've already got them in the limited price map. As you can see, I'm using it. So you can't win a second one, it's not possible. The Omega is in when you can win a second one off. So we'll go to the dock quickly there. Yeah, I'll show you my build, mate. See what you think. We can dismiss that. It's dead now. It's not calling that for anything. I'll just using it just because I've got one. Might even chuck another one on, to be honest. So while we fix that quickly, where are they? So yeah, that's my basic setup at the moment, which was straight at the factory the day they were, you know, in the raid. I got them on the first night, so I started building one straight away. And I built 4 blank hulls with 1 torpedo on for the XP weekend, and then saved up as many tokens as bits as I could, and then finished them off ready for this raid. So they're all sculled and that sort of stuff, and I'm ready to play. And I've kept the weight light because obviously I'm waiting for the Phantom as well, and I can fit the Phantom into that fleet. So looking at it should be alright, to be honest. It's not bad. So they got 7607. That's still stuff there. So yeah, put those back into the mix. And there you go. So I've got just enough to get the last one in, which is nice. And they do sneaky things sometimes when they put it's not in the right places. When they decide to when they decide to make the Phantom slightly heavier than what they do with the rest of the standard ships, or you add a bit of armour and it actually makes the boat slightly heavier. So if that's the case, I'm going to just drop the torp, I suppose. To be honest, these things are crazy powerful. Start stacking these up, can't we? Not actually getting much damage, are we? It was only 15 minutes, wasn't it? So probably Zoe's one probably took a bit more damage than the others. Right, we're good. Have we got another crew anyway, just out of interest? Oh, we've got a couple, not all the sticking ones. May as well, see it's there. Right, okie dokie. Yeah, so just out of interest as well, with that ship there, I managed to get in and do a couple of 126s. So, oh, thanks mate, cheers. So yeah, so you know, it isn't impossible, and that's just straight B talks on that little CUDA look, with obviously the AA3 and that sort of stuff. No, stealth attack system 4, which is ranked at R15 as well, and obviously Magnus Drive 2, which is also ranked at R15 as well, and as is the D4, well, the S stealth armor as well. And look at the concussive defense there, which is reasonable, I think, to be honest. Explosive at 91%, which cloak efficiency is down to 66. So don't fret too much, because I wasn't seeing at all with this little set of subs. It was absolutely fine. I was taking the bugs out, they weren't hitting me and that sort of stuff, and the fix time on this is cracking. It's a good little set of subs, so you know it's an idea. Now you can put a meniscus system on there if you want to, get rid of those, and maybe do something else and have a different speed system or something like that. But to be honest, I found it fine. Slow. Jeff was in that. Jeff was in chat. He was on the hangout with me while we were doing it. It did take a while, I have to say, but ultimately it was a level 100 target. No mate, no, sorry, 4 Kudas I was using. But we did hold some back actually. I think we were doing it in 2-2s. Because obviously you get the minimum damage, don't you, from the blast effect. And they're never going to tell us, unless the Dark Alliance come back to us and tell us whether these shard targets have also got plasma, i.e. limited damage, in them or not. I mean, plasma is just a name. They just give it a fictitious name, and then it's minimum damage threat, that's all it is. It's just to make sure we take some damage. You can't mitigate against it, it's not possible. So it's just, so I don't like clicking, so let's turn this on. Okay, that's better. Now I'll use move a mouse, it's easier. You're probably thinking, God, that flickering is really annoying on the screen there. And the range circles keep flickering, but to be honest, I don't even take notice of it. So when I turn on this macro key here, all I personally do is look at the furthest range indication for my weapon. I don't look at my ships where they're going, not even interested. I look at where I'm heading to, the incoming ship where it is, and my furthest range, and make sure I'm engaging the target. What my ships are doing is irrelevant. I just get used to dancing my mouse around the screen and makes the game an awful lot simpler to play. Yeah, good mate. It's up to the last video I did. I can't remember how far in it was, but we did do a couple of targets. I made one mistake and that sort of stuff. You get caught, you get caught. But in all honesty, I got caught, and they didn't annoy. I mean, while they damaged my Kudas, I didn't get sunk. I didn't get sunk. I was quite surprised. So they have done the honourable thing, whereas they did say they were going to reduce the damage so that you wouldn't actually just get absolutely annihilated if you made a slight driver error, which I did. I didn't, having moved from the Hellwraith down to the Kuda, I didn't acknowledge the dive time difference very well. So that did cost me a little bit on once. Like that just cost me because I should have hit that one a bit quicker. But I still managed to come back in and get it all squared away. This one's... What are you running, Jeff? It depends on what you're running, mate, because I can go through the macros as well. Yeah, not like Liam, mate. No, do you know what? We did give Liam so many digs about his sub-driving, which is funny. Makes me laugh anyway. I mean, Liam's... he's a good friend of mine. But he hasn't had subs for a long time. So I'll tell you what we'll send these in quickly to fix, and while we do that, I'll bring up the. Just have a quick look a second. There we go. So this is what I'm using here. It's turned off, isn't it? It is. So I'm using this one here. This is Macro Mouse Recorder. This is the one that I use that things Apple Mac. I can't remember, but there is one, isn't there? I'll have to speak to my brother because he's running Apple Mac. To be honest. But for this one here, just quickly while that's fleece squaring itself away, this one here is quite straightforward. So what it's doing for me is it's pressing the mouse, sorry, the key on the keyboard on the number keypad, and basically it's automatically doing the mouse click for me. So it's doing it for key, you know, and you can obviously put in whichever ships you want to use and stuff. But I put in all 5 in this fleet because obviously I've got a lead Apollo, which mirrors the rest of them. So that instead of just going ship 1 click, ship 2 click, ship 3 click, you know, it's doing all 5 with a 30 millisecond gap in between each one. So that's what I'm doing basically. And then when you do that and you go into configure, basically then, so to turn it on, I press Control F2, and to turn it off, I press Control F3 and that sort of stuff. And I've set the seconds at obviously 3/10 of a second then, and I've got it repeat until I turn it off. And then that's it in a nutshell, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, I probably can, mate. To be honest. Let's just, I'll just press, make the screens go a bit messy, but I'll just press fix quickly on this fleet, and then I'll find the. I'll find that link. I'll take colour out so it's just speed up a little bit, so that it's not repair. Let me just change views a second. So we'll do the YouTube chat, couldn't we, to be honest? It says, should be on this one, yeah it is, here we go. Let's go into here a second. Doodle-a-doo, doodle-a-doo. Was it this one? Remind me, Jeff, come on. Yeah, it must be this one. 2 seconds. Zip forward and see if we can maximize this a second. You can probably see that, can't you? I think so. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I was using. Oh, I'll turn it down. So this is me using Tiger Sharks. So I mean, obviously, run it through. So that was Tigers, and that's at the 10 an hour point. Here's Kudas. So about 115, would we say about 115 basically? Let's have a quick look. This is in real time obviously because it's obviously a live stream, so there we go, I'll port it in. Just make sure it's the right one. I think it probably is. Yeah, there you go, there's a set of Kudas, that sort of stuff there. So that's okay. Does that work? We'll try that. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Oh, good timing. So you want to time it. So yeah, so in that one, I think we did Tigers, and I haven't done anything to Tigers. Bear in mind, the only thing that's got AA3 and that sort of stuff was those set of Kudas. So the Tigers, whilst they did quite a bit of, they got a bit of damage. That was simply because I wasn't wasting any time refitting a set of Tiger Sharks. Where actually I just did the Kuda changes. I've got obviously Banshees as well, and I've not done nothing to them. Whereas the Barracuda I have, and then when I flip to my Tiger Sharks, look, I've done nothing. So these are set with, if I was going to do something, I'd put meniscus system on there, and then obviously put AA3 on there as well, and probably change a couple of the specials. Sorry, the armor slots, and then not have to worry about the other specials because I've got scatter guns on there, so it doesn't really matter. But they're inherently slow, and it was really boring. Sorry, mate, the macro recorder. Which one do you want, mate? Do you want that one? Because that's not a free macro. That's a pay for macro. It cost me, I think, $20 or something like that. I think it was. But I've got. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll just look back to. He says nipping from screen to screen just quickly. Let's just go back into video management. If you go down, mate, and I put the links into all of them. Auto hotkey set for macro for BP. I think it's this one. So these two here, these streams there, look, July the 3rd, July the 5th. That's got all the links as well. I'm pretty sure. He says, yeah. So there you go. So how to install the auto hotkey. So auto hotkey is one of the better ones. So I went through in this video here about 5 or 6 different macros. And then where to find them as well. All the web pages are on them as well. So you can have that one, mate. If you copy that, and I'll drop that in for you. Have a look at that, buddy. So if I just quickly nip through, yeah, there you go. So and I basically tell you how to set up each one of the macros, and then what they are, and then auto macro, which I think is one of the better ones, to be honest. So and there you go. So there's the macro itself. You can see that on the screen. Yes, you can. So there you go. So that's so that moves ships 2, 3, 4, and 5 just by pressing the end key, you know, above the arrow keys, that sort of stuff. So that helps things quite considerably. So there we go. That's, so there we go. And then if you want the other one that's specifically just about fine-tuning auto hotkey itself, it's the next video one, which is 2 days later. But anyway, we'll go back to the live stream. So the fleet should be fixed, which it is. We'll go back out. But yeah, macros, and don't think you can't use macros so long as you're controlling your fleet, i.e. you're not away from the keyboard, then you have no issues whatsoever. I did send in, as I've said many a time before, the request. This should be the first mega hull. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Okay, that'd be good. It's all above board and approved. So I sent it in via Reich, and he sent it to the Q&A team, and then he also sent it to the terms and conditions guys as well. He passed it around the teams, and they all said no, so long as you're at the keyboard and you have to actuate it, you turn it on, you have to drive your fleet and that sort of stuff, and it doesn't just automatically target the next. That's not a good place to start. It doesn't automatically target the next target by itself, autonomous in other words, you know, so you can just walk away and just let the game play by itself, then it isn't an issue. I physically have to be here, and I physically have to engage, as you can see. So all I'm doing is just doing what they do by the up arrow. It's the same concept, really. Yeah, macro gamer. Yeah, I've got that as well, Jason. That's another one. In that video, I think I used macro gamer, auto hotkey, 3 or 4 other ones, to be honest. And I did mention a couple of Mac ones, but obviously I've not got a Mac, so I've not been able to use them. But I think the chat's in there. Do you know what, mate? Yeah, it would make it a lot easier if they did input some of their own macros. Well, they have, haven't they? I suppose up arrow and that sort of stuff, and then S, and then, you know, so they are sort of doing. Do you remember what it used to be like? It used to be horrendous, didn't it? It was going back to that old system. That would be awful, wouldn't it? So F2. Oh, I think what I might have done is turn the macro off by mistake. Yeah, I have. Let's bring it up. There we go. Okay. So this is where this macro becomes really, really good, especially when it comes to hitting the mega holes in a minute. I'll show you. Yeah, left arrow key all the way. Yeah, you're not wrong there, mate. It was horrendous, wasn't it? Number 1 left arrow key, number 2 left arrow key. You forget which ship you're on and that sort of stuff. So this is why I started using macros, was because when the mega ships came in, it was an absolute noise. But it took me about 8 weeks to get all the business about can we use macros, can't we use macros, what's the score on macros, you know. But it was worth the wait, and I've actually retained all the emails about it as well, just in case was ever to disappear from Kickstarter and then someone picks up on my videos. what I keep saying about using macros, and then they go, oh, I don't like that. Well, I can go back and say, well, actually, at the time, it was fully checked out. I'll have a new broom sometime. Not that I'm ever wishing I can not to stay at Kickstarter, but people do tend to move on sometimes. I'm trying to remember what the what was the name of the guy that used to do the BP videos, intros? What was his name? It's funny how people that are really famous, or you think they're famous, and then they move on and you forget who they're called. What was his flipping name? He used to get really excited about doing his videos, and then you could see that obviously he was basically out of favour with Kickstarter because he would be doing the last few videos that he did, and then didn't sound too infused. What the hell was his name? I can't remember. Twitch. Yeah, no, I've got a Twitch account to be honest, but I have got one. I don't know why I don't use Twitch to be honest. But again, I don't use things like Twitter and that sort of stuff either. So well, I don't stream a huge amount. I only stream when I get the inkling that I can be bothered, to be honest. Was it CNC, mate? I can't remember who it was. He used to have the guy with the beard and that sort of stuff. He was mental. Well, he portrayed it. He was a bit mental. I can't remember what he's called now. I looked for some old Kickstarter videos and that sort of stuff and remember what his name was. I forgot it. He had a beard. Now, he wasn't a very old chap and that sort of stuff, but he was trying to portray that he was a bit of a rebel sort of stuff, But he was really infused. We used to be very infused in his video intros and that sort of stuff. And it was the pre-raid videos. But Swag, that's the one. Swag. Yeah. I quite liked it. He made me smile. He got people infused just by his delivery. Did the job. So here we go. So this is, and unfortunately, you're not going to see it in these ones because they killed off the turret tops, and I think they killed off the turret tops when they built in the Hyperiums and that sort of stuff, and they've mucked up the coding. Because it used to be fine. They used to show the damage rings and that sort of stuff, and now you don't see anything, do you? Which is rubbish. And you also don't see the rings that obviously start spewing out all the disgusting, horrible, corrosive damage that you get. Which is why I started this macro, because obviously you can just point, as you can see with this mouse here, and I can just like dance around. And what I used to do was dance around inside and then outside, and then that red ring used to come up, and you'd be half in, half out, and it would be ideal. Using this macro, you could just spin your ships around. They never slowed down either. And then obviously, if you wanted to prep for somebody as well, you could just blow up just those bits. And while it's still firing, you could just nip out of the way like that, and just leave obviously the bridge. And then somebody would come in when you were hitting ACS. It was ideal, and they'd get all the points, or the bonus points. Yeah, swag. Funny. Yeah, he moved on, didn't he? But obviously I think that's when Kickly downsized, when Backyard Monsters and all that sort of stuff died off, and they had a massive reshuffle, and there was lots going on, and I never actually played that game, I must admit. And I did a bit of War Commander for a while, but to be honest, I came into that game too late, far too late. Whereas a lot of people were running obviously Battle Pirates and War Commander at the same time. Whereas if you're running an alliance and you're trying to do things like TFC and that sort of stuff, you can't do it. It's just not possible and have a real life. So I dropped War Commander, to be honest. And I used to play a tank game, I can't remember what it was, which was in my spare time, which was absolutely ridiculously free, but it was based off a Russian server. And they've killed the Ground War tanks, that was it. And they killed that game off in the European server, although the Russian server is still going, but I'm not freaking logging into some Russian server, can't be honest. I'm nearly there. Well, we are there, in fact. There we go, that's that one. Yeah, Stu, I'm the same, mate. So I thought Swag was a big loss actually to Kickside. I think he may have just left off his own thing and moved on to other things. So I don't really know. But is that to me, or does that look a bit fuzzy to you? I'm not sure that looks fuzzy. Pokies. I've got a link to Pokies. I found it the other day. I've saved it. I quite like it. There's another game, and I'm not going to show it because my daughter showed it, and it's called Sliver. And talk about a good little time waster and that sort of stuff. So when the game goes down for its updates and stuff, I snip onto that, and it's hysterically funny. My daughter's YouTube channel is really good, I have to say. She's I want to get her onto Twitch as well. She's just started out, and she wants to do that sort of stuff for her career, multimedia, entertainment, that sort of stuff. Because my oldest daughter, she's just going into computer games. She's going to university this coming year, so she's going into computer design technology and getting in the games industry and that sort of stuff. Which, wow, we all wanted her to be a zoologist and that sort of stuff and go off and become, the replacement for David Attenborough, but that's not going to happen, clearly. So, but what parents want and what your kids want are two different things. Kids, well, she's old enough, she's an adult at the end of the day, so it's her decision. But she's got the grades to go to uni, so she's off this coming, this fall, autumn English. But yeah, so my youngest at the moment, she's just started up her own YouTube channel, and I was watching some of it. It's hysterically funny. But yeah, so she basically goes on like the Yogcast team does. She likes them a lot and that sort of stuff. So, like I posted on the page, we went to the Insomnia and that sort of stuff. It's simply because there's a lot of the YouTube channel guys there and that sort of stuff. So we should be. Was that the last of that campaign? Or we need to start another one? Yes, we do, don't we? Oh no, we're active. Have we got one more round to do? No, we haven't. Where are we to now then? So we're on to round 4. Yes, we are. So what am I going to get for round 4? What did I just get for the last one? So I got some gantry tokens. So does anybody know how to speed that up? Do you click on the gantry outside? I have no idea. Should we go and have a look? Oh man, someone's hitting that base. How funny. Should we have a look? Oh, missed it. It's a shame. Speed up. I don't think so. Stu, that's your area, mate. I don't do that sort of stuff. Anyway, go on. Let's redeem that. Bingo! I've still got 13 days left. I'm so far behind. Oh man, that guy's just got hit and we missed it. I like seeing little battles like that. Hello, Jack Sparrow here. Yeah, I can do, mate. I just don't know where you are. 902. Hang on, mate. He did 205. 205. Yeah, I can. Sure. Where are you, Jack Sparrow? So I'll be nice and just do a 91 quickly. There's one up there, isn't there? I'll tell you what I'll do. Before I'm going to answer that, what I'm going to quickly do is just refresh the game because I think it's been on long enough. Yeah, pokies. Do you remember you used to go down and pokies to come on? Everybody's like, right, I've got 700 and XYZ. So look at this Slither up there. Look. I ought to. Oh, it's a hysterically funny game, that is. My daughter showed me that, and it is quite fun. Really basic, but really funny. Right, where's this fleet? Here it is here. Should we go and do this? Height 1 for this chap. Why does he want 91? Why does he want just 191? So what I'll do is I'll quickly. I suppose there's no lag now, so what's post to chat? Go into there. Where is he? We'll quickly just nip in and do this for this chap. Yeah, I know I'm behind, mate. Behind is one way of putting it. I'd say something else. I am miles behind. Um, Stu, I don't know if you probably weren't on the live chat last night, the open mic. In fact, yeah, you did. In fact, so you were in the chat, weren't you? Sorry, bud. Um, but somebody did mention, I think it was LB from My Alliance, that basically a bit like you used to do in the old days, where you didn't want to get smashed all the time with one of the fleets that never used to dock. I remember it was. Forgotten what it was now. So if you set two bookmarks, one in whatever world you're in, one in the top. So for me, it's 400, and then one in 301, and then just set your Hyperion sailing. It takes about 1 day and about 17 hours to get from one end of the world to the other end of the world, which is obviously day and 3/4. Which means then if you log in every day and 3/4, you can actually jump from one end of the world to the other end of the world. And if you're not ready for someone to come and fight you, then basically they can't fight you. So it's a good way of making sure that when you log off at night time, your flipping boat doesn't get smashed overnight. Not that it affects me, because clearly I haven't built one yet. But because each module, unlike what I thought, it was going to be a case of like 20 minutes wait for the bridge to fix and then everything else was going to instant fix. Oh no, they haven't done that, have they? What they've gone and done, they've freaking well, it's time per module that you've got fitted and all the bits that's on there. It's getting, which I thought when in a module, when I saw the modules in the Wednesday update, it said instant fix. What they didn't put into that was the fact that bits that actually put on the modules. So a little bit sneaky. But I will get into the mega holes. We will as an alliance. You've got to do it as an alliance, I have to say. I don't think anybody that's doing it independently stands a hope in hell. Because when hiving comes in, you're just going to get smashed to shit. Because big alliances will come in, they'll put in, as you would do, quite rightly, you put in you bring in the right mega holes, that sort of stuff, a bit like adding fleets in as well. If someone's going in with a set of Apollos, well, you may as well sneak in with a ghost crawler, which is what I'm going to do. But if someone's got a retribution in there, then obviously a ghost crawler needs to get right out of the way. So, and it's good because obviously if one hull dies or one fleet dies off, you can come in with another one. So for FVF, treating that sort of like a bit like a drag base, it should bring a bit of FVF back in. But I think then to do it, these lower the repair times, I think it should be a quarter. It's my gut feeling, don't you think? But I think the repair time for anybody bringing in a fleet, a genuine fleet that they've built, they do have everything, so I think they should have a quarter repair time. Otherwise, how are you going to encourage your alliance to bring in something for technically your gain and nobody else's? Because it's only if you're stealing bits from other people's ships, they don't get parts. They just get a dead fleet. You get to strengthen up your mega hull, but they get nothing out of it apart from a dead fleet. So to keep people encouraged and that sort of stuff, I would think it'd be much better if by engaging in a mega, into those slots. I don't know how they're going to do it yet. I haven't even seen how you bring a fleet in because I'm not in there, but I've seen people do it. I think that fleet should be, its fixed time should be quartered. It should only be able to repair in a slot that's available. If you are choosing to instant fix it, it shouldn't happen back in your dock. You should be able to do it for a quarter repair time. Almost like in raid time plus a ghost plus a monkey crew as well. Same sort of concept. Oh, I must remember not to hit the the bridge because I'm doing this for somebody else. Or I think I'm doing this for somebody else if he still wants it. Yeah, not going too bad. Right, I'm just going to trigger these two down here. Yeah, it is, dude. It's freaking dumb, isn't it? When your boat's just sitting there. Jeff, you're worse than me, mate. 34 days on the entry. It's funny. I thought I was bad. Doesn't like you, mate. normally record everything. No, you're mad at the moment. I think, you know, I'm not being disrespectful to anybody at all, but I think Kicks has done a great disservice at the moment to anybody that's coined the gantry and then coined the Hyperion and that sort of stuff, because I don't think there's enough bits to make it exciting. So they need to be careful. If you don't start doing something soon, then people are going to lose interest fast, because we're a fickle bunch and we like our fixes. If we don't get our rush, you know, I missed that one, then we'll move on to something else, you know. And I'm afraid that it could be a dead duck before it's even started, which would be a real shame, because the potential there is good. But if we don't sort the shit out quick, it's going to be another one of those ideas that was a really good idea that ends up being executed really badly. Well, that was quite handy, wasn't it? Don't know, what do you think? Do you think the same? Just turn this macro off and see if this chap's actually saying anything. Set to comms honey. 10% of good stuff, 90% of bollocks. That's how I treat sector comms. And in raid week, turn it off altogether. I really can't stand it. I hate it. So these are nice and strong, the Apollos, aren't they? So I mean, you can see this is it's going to be almost instant fix. Well, probably is going to be instant fix. But can you imagine now you jump and then you just jump on a set of rhinos and be doing this? You'd be bored out your freaking brains, wouldn't you? Just for the speed. Right, so what I'm going to do is just nip out of that. What you can't do is answer any bloody questions, can you? And that sort of stuff. So what I need to do while that clock is ticking out there, let's have a quick look and see what he had to say for himself. Does he want it or not? Yeah, see. So what I'll do is I'll just go in and leave it, and ultimately if he gets it, he gets it. If he doesn't get it, then someone else can have it. I really don't care. But there you go. That's my good deed done of the day. Nearly hits my space then. That wouldn't have gone down well, would it? Okay, recall. Did you get it? Well, someone's in there. However, you think I'm going to be doing that all morning, got nothing coming. So yeah, so if those that don't know, basically the overlay I'm using is on OBS, which is quite a good little program. Or to actually do a cheat on OBS. I haven't done that, I must admit. Depends how many people stream. There's not many people do. But if you want to get into streaming that sort of stuff, you know, I stumbled across it through somebody else. And I managed to plug my way through it, work out how to use it. I think the overlay is looking quite good, to be honest. I'm sort of self-gratulating myself and patting myself on the back for for an old geezer. I think it's still alright. So what I want to do is I'm going to bring in another channel actually, because there's a sound channel as well. So I'm going to find a royalty-free music channel as well, and then just link a loop through, and then do some background music as well, because my dulcet tones are very dull. I know. But a bit of background music that's you know, switchable volume-wise. I've got a multimedia keyboard, so I can turn the volume up and down, independent from the mic. And that would be probably quite decent. Or a bit annoying, like when you're in shopping malls and that sort of stuff, you know, Tesco's and those sort of stuff for the Brits. And you got that really annoying background shit music. I don't know. Right then, let's go and crack on with the next bit of this thing. Come on, Ghost Crawler Shards. When's the next bit start? It's 12 o'clock. Kickside time, isn't it? Here we go. Let's make a start. While we're doing that 12 o'clock kickside time, what's that? Let's have a look at the clock at the bottom. It's 6:23 kickside time at the moment. I run 2 clocks on my thing. Kickside. Sad. Fancy running a kickside clock and also my own UK time as well. There he is. He started a bear again. That was foolish of me, wasn't it? Yeah, you see that scat got me straight away. So as I was saying earlier on in the stream, basically, you know, had it been released earlier, I would be fitting obviously the new armor that's in the T5 at the moment, because it gives 18% per wedge. You get an 18% reduction on your corrosive damage, which is ideal for hitting these. But I ain't gonna do it anymore because what's the point? 91s you saw, then I can fix them for now. The amount of time it takes to fit them takes forever. Nobody hits your base fleet anymore with Tiger Sharks, with scatter guns. Just don't do that anymore because there's other things to stop them from doing it. So I think the bloody armor's come too late. I don't see why they've released it now, unless there's something coming that we don't know about. Might be, I don't know. Okay, I don't do that. Let's go down there and do that. Let's start this again. I missed that then. Yeah, I think isn't it midday or is it 9 o'clock, Jeff? Is it? I can't. I'd have to look at the I'd have to look at the notes again, as I can't really remember, mate, to be honest. Is it 12 noon or is it 9? It's 5. 10, 11, 12, 9. That sounds like 9 kickside time, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Do 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. That's 9 AM. Maybe it's 5. Yeah. Well, that'd be better. Although I've only got to hit 5 targets, which is not too bad. I'll just 5 finishes first. Oh, there you go. Right into the scan gun at the same time, you get them up in. Yeah, so we're talking about swag, weren't we? I got a funny feeling the community, you know, and they never made a mistake. When raid pre-raid videos, you know, they just come out like 48 hours before, you know, sometimes they were late, but it got people in the motivated for the raid and that sort of stuff, and it gave them a rough hint. You know, they were trying to highlight their boats and some of their builds, which was shocking and that sort of stuff, but they were trying to give you a rough idea, and it's what people got in the mood for. You know, oh, here comes the raid, I know what's going to be coming, oh, that's a target, oh, that's a ship, oh, that's what it can do. And then they sort of stopped, didn't they, for 4 or 5 months, and there was nothing, you know, and we had absolutely, you know, just the raid's on, great, okay, well, what's it about and what we're doing, that sort of stuff. And then they've sort of started to introduce videos again, which is great and that sort of stuff. But by God, they're dull. They are really, really boring. And it looks like it's a, oh, here's a raid video, we'll just create it, but we won't think about the build, and we won't think about actually trying to infuse people. We'll just 13 left. He's obviously after something. Yeah. $130. Oh, this is gold and not people right. Oh, yeah. The kicks I offers, which are really funny, some of them. I saw somebody get offered 50 tiger shards, but they wanted something like 1,000 English pounds. I was like, what? Somebody sent me a link, a picture, sorry. I was like, that £1,000? They actually think you're going to spend £1,000? £1,000? I could buy a second-hand car for £1,000. Not some pixels. Suppose when you do it in one hit like that, it's a scary amount of money, isn't it? When you break it down over weeks and that sort of stuff, you know. You don't realise how much you're spending. Probably, I don't know. But when you see it in one big hit, look at that. Whoa. Oh, thanks, Jeff. 5 hours 30. So it is then. Yeah. Okay. Oh, hang on, 5. So that'd be 3. So it's 8 o'clock tonight. So it's 12. Yeah. So it's 12 midday. Kickside time. PDT or PE, whatever it is. Anyway, Pacific time, isn't it? Is it summertime? I can't remember what it's called. PDT, PST, Pacific Summer Time or Pacific Daylight Time or something like that. Anyway, I just call it Kickstarter time. In this global world we live in. There we go, that's all these on that. And drop that down for me. All's good. So what's going to come in this week's update, I wonder? I'm intrigued. I've got no indication as to what's coming. Sometimes I get a bit of a hint. But not this time. I can't even imagine what it's going to be. We're going to have a rollout for an FM, that's great. Okay, there'll be some bug fixes in tuning, we know there are plenty. Those have been highlighted, like log in the morning your base fleet, or it's not your base fleet, but one of your main fleets has got like 2 hours damage or 20 minutes damage on each one of the boats. That's been sent up. People have been building obviously some Hellrays and that stuff, and it gets to 0% damage, and they can't even take out the slot and put it to fix. It just keeps logging on with 0% damage, and they can't refit it either. Also, when you take a ship out of your base defense fleet as well, and then change it, and then go to reset it as well, that causes an SOS. That's another one that's been happening lately. There's a few of them. A few nickels. A bit foolish nickel. Got scattered then for no reason whatsoever, apart from anything or anything. All I want to do is hit the torque tower. So I was blatantly obvious I wasn't going to get the torque tower. Now look, there's no corrosive effect there. But obviously on those oil rigs, the oil slicks, but in these they also cause corrosive damage. Well, they were causing corrosive damage, which is why the ring turns, the indicator turns red above the ships. Whilst you do speed through, or it helps you to speed through, you don't care if you take some damage. Oh, it's going to snipe that if I can't. I'll probably go a bit better driver. Just while rushing this. Being a little lazy really, to be honest, because the damage is so slight. Okay, we'll just full rush this. Is that 5? Just 5. This is 5, isn't it? Yeah, this is the last one. It's got the island on the right hand side, isn't it? So yeah, I really don't know what's coming on Tuesday. It'll be interesting myself. A bit like I might be able to find some of that stuff out on Monday. We tend to do is try to get the information a bit early, because obviously we need to produce the slides and that sort of stuff for the show, and if we can't get the slides or can't get the information early, then the slides just look tacky. And I don't like it if it doesn't look. My OCD kicks in. And Andrew likes to do the graphics as well. I think that's his little forte. He likes to chop bits out and that sort of stuff. Yeah, agreed, Stu. It bloody annoys me as well, mate. You know, this limited damage. I mean, this new plasma damage, which is just cack, isn't it? It's just a figure they put in there to say whatever encounter you're going to do, you're going to incur this much damage based on a rate from 1 to 10. We'll call it plasma, shall we? Because that doesn't exist in the game at the moment. But it's just another way of saying you're going to take damage whether you like it or not. So, mitigating with a good build, mitigating with doing the FM and getting the right specials, the right weapons, the right hull, they're still going to have an income. Oh yeah, sort out the grammar. That was it, Jeff. Yeah, I saw that. Sort out the English. Yeah, it made me smile when I read that. Yeah, so the release notes come in. So one of the bug fixes in tuning was to do grammar errors. It wasn't grammatical, it was grammar. So grammar errors and stuff. But every time you get a Kickstarter update, it comes in. I've sent it from American back into English again. I can put the date the right way around and that sort of stuff, you know. And then obviously the spellings, defense, and a few issues like that, you know. Not that it's, you know, Americans, you know, I'm not telling them they've got to write it in French or anything like that, but you know, predominantly us, the TFC, we are based in the UK, so I'd rather have it in my own language, but that's just me being a pedantic arsehole. And that might take a bit of going in quickly, the dock and sorting, oops, that damage out, I'm not sure, but we'll have a look. 9 minutes, let's do that quickly. A couple to go and we're done. 2:30. I'll tell you what isn't suffering. That's the those that are in the Europe. It's the Belgian Grand Prix, I think it is. This afternoon. I'll have to watch the highlights tonight. So we've got 40 minutes left in this crew, which I don't see why we can't finish the whole thing in that time. I think what we'll do is we'll stop fixing on the last one. We'll just smash through it and just get the whole thing done out of the way. So we'll just test how much damage it takes. I suppose the easiest way to do it. We'll do the whole round. We'll probably do it. No fix and see if it's possible. I'll just notice I've got 2 versions of the chat up on the other screen. I don't know why I've got 2 versions, but I have. There we go. Let's get rid of one. I've got a large text version and a normal text version. So the large text version is just because the screen's a bit further away. So desktop, so bring up both on there. So it's a black background and luminous text, so you can see it nice and easy. Righty ho. So One bullet. Or roughly thereabouts. It's like that sometimes, isn't it? If you got them and just like leave a tiny little bit behind. Yep, so come on Kickside, let's have a preview raid please. A raid preview. Thursday, Friday evening. That'll give you some bonus points again, a bit more kudos. Let's have B sets out on there. A couple of A sets and one of the S targets, or let's hope it's going to be just a single S target this time. So it's the first of the new raid format, we don't need a whole load of them. Now if anybody's going to be raiding in Alpha World, obviously at the start of the raid, good luck to you. I envisage a few snags, as there always is with Flash games, when they introduce something live and that sort of stuff, you know. While their test server, you know, can run 100 or so people, obviously the live server is supposed to be running like thousands. It has its issues, as we all know. I've never done a arena raid format come to start up and not have an issue, personally. But hey, oh, went over there, that was wise, and we went all the way around, and just to go and let the torps hit me. There we go. That's one. Okay, should be onto mega holes now. Number 7 encounter. That's interesting. So just adding an extra one of those in, then put a mega hole. I thought the last one would have 2. Maybe the last one will have 2 mega holes in it. An easy one and a harder one. I wasn't expecting this to be like this, which is quite decent. Hey mate, how you doing? Morning buddy. I'm just killing a Sunday afternoon, mate, that's what I'm doing. Seven is mega. So there's only one, is it? I'm obviously. I was hoping in the last round there might be. Well, not hoping, but I was expecting to see 2 in the last round. One of the easy ones, which is what we're getting, then one of the harder ones, maybe. Clearly not though, because everyone's saying that the whole thing is quite easy. Quite a good chat we had last night, mate, on the after show. I hear other people's perspective. I do like the after shows, I must admit. I think, to be honest, I mean, giving out the information on the TFC on the Tuesday night, which is fine, that sort of stuff. And I do like to listen to the chat. It's much better to have people actually on live, because what you type sometimes is not. You can't really interpret what you want sometimes through text. It's like sending emails as opposed to doing voiceover and that sort of stuff. The Zoe's a bit quicker, are they? Okay, alright. We'll find out in a second. We'll finish this last one off here, and then we'll just go straight from the last campaign, see if we can do it all without too much damage. We won't bother coming in and fixing. And then I'll be chasing my ghost crawler shards later. Yeah, it can be, mate. You know, the good thing about the after show thing is you can be a bit more open about what you want to say as well, because obviously it's not recorded, which is quite nice. Well, you're not yourself, but obviously when you're doing a live recording and stuff, you want to make sure you get key points across and make sure you don't forget those key points. So trying to keep to a sort of a structure and keep it on track. That was not really the best place to come in, was it? And keep the show on track, you know, and not lose the train of thought as well, and make sure that if you know, an update, a change, or something's come in, that you've actually covered it. Otherwise, why even expect people to log in? And, you know, whilst no one gets employed to do this, if you are going to do it, try and do it properly at least. If you're trying to help some fellow players out, don't just provide a load of crap. There's a lot going on here, isn't there? Oh, okay, so you did it with 2 Apollos. That's alright, mate. Thanks for the update, mate. That's good. So if I can't do it with 5 Apollos, one of them being Zoe, then obviously I'm a bit of a dick. This one's nice, there's loads of space to move around, isn't it? We like this one. Like I say, since the Hyperion update, this is goofed. There you go, see where the red rings and that sort of stuff, so I'm getting splattered there. No indication whether I was inside or outside the target range. Nothing at all. Slightly annoying. 13 for the whole campaign, well done. So far, this has been instant fix for everything. Not spent a damn coin on this. Okay, that's not strictly true because I've got a series of poly, which evidently I didn't build in slow time. So, speculate to accumulate maybe. Look at those 4 all banked up, you arseholes. Right, okay. Well, I'm just going to smash you then, aren't we? Let's stay out of far. Ding 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 ding. So I'm a great advocate of get in early, saves the pain later. There was somebody who was in the TFC page the other day who was talking about one of the raids. I think it was the last raid. He was basically saying spent 2,000 coins raiding. I'll say she because it was a she. Not that it's a great deal of difference. And then obviously won the whole. And at that time, I decided that then it was a good time to go and build her fleet. All sorts of stuff like that. And I said to her, well, why didn't you, for that amount of money, that amount of coin, what you could have done was built the ships before you didn't start the raid, and then you could have did that raid for free on instant fixing, and then just the same amount of money would have given her the ships that she wanted, which is 3 Apollos. She could have built them, done the raid for like 30 or 50 coins, that sort of stuff, and then be slow time building. Instead of doing that, she used rhinos, spent 2,000 coins in the raid, and had no ships to show for it, and still had then start building, which is just an absolute false economy. Freaking ludicrous. So I'm a great advocate of speculative accumulate. Okay, so that's the end of that one. So we'll patch this up and then we'll just go through the next round completely without doing anything. So there we go, that's it. So what did I get out of that? Oh, a 3-day Hyperion. Really? I'll keep hold of that then. Since I've still got 13 days to go on my gantry. Because I'm so far behind. Okay, so that was 21 for the last, so that's not too bad. And like I say, I'm running the DOS crew because what are you going to do? They're not going to be any good for the next raid. So I've got them, so I may as well freaking use it, to be honest. And it's certainly not a crew that's going to be helpful at all in the sub-raid. So I've just got a few seconds here. Let's have a quick look here. So I've still got my 2-day shipbuilder token, which is ready for starting my ghost crawler. Nothing there. Specialist token. Oh look, and there we go. So I've got 1 out of 10. Well, that's interesting. So that means we have 30 days worth. Maybe there's more to follow. Might say that. We'll see. I can do, mate, if you want. I did a stream. There is a stream on my channel for me doing Reavers. I'm just waiting for that to fix. I can just where is it? Let's get a video manager a second. Yeah, this one here. So in this stream here, mate, what I did was there you go. What I did in that one there then. So not only did I there you go. There's some kudos. Look, so I did kudos. And Jeff, a mate of mine, is in my alliance. He's also on this stream as well, because I did it via a Google Hangout as well. I did tigers, and obviously right at the start, I was using Hellrace. So yeah, we're just checking through the updates of the forums. So we're using Hellrace as full set, and comparing the difference between using a full set of 4 and then going and using single ships as well, and just proving the fact that. There were, for these hundreds anyway, these 100 set ones, that actually using a single sub was far cheaper, and I ended up being able to do, whilst these aren't raid targets because we haven't actually got any raid targets yet, we let's go. Yeah, it proved that a single sub, so long as we can use single subs and then ultimate raid targets, then we'll give it a better place, to be honest, I think. Right, so is that finished? Yeah, it is. Right, so let's speed that up. Okay, let's start the last set because there's people out sniping, so we'll start it from in here. So here we go. So the last one then. I mean, this is a great. I mean, just look at the prizes quickly. Look. So the countermeasure loader 2, which is an excellent special. Brilliant for your base defense fleets and that sort of stuff. And obviously a gale. Which is great because they're hard to get off. And then counter equipment 2. All right, slightly different thing, but counter loader. And then counter loader 3. 3. Perfect. And then you start getting some worthwhile gales. So that gives you 3 gales straight away then. And what a great way to get an Omega, So for Punishers, it's a perfect little ship, absolutely perfect little ship to park in the corner out the way and that sort of stuff, Or if you can't get the Gamma, just stick it in your base because it's freaking nuts when it starts going mental, Resonance capacitors in there as well, brilliant prize, that sort of stuff, And your first gale free, and another gale too. That's almost enough gales. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4. 1 on the ship, 5. There you go. That's enough to sort a fleet out. Absolutely perfect. And then striking down again, if you get the price back 4, you've just seen that, another set of gales, perfect 3s and 2s. So there you go. That is an absolute fleet sorted. This Harlock Citadel, which is nuts if you haven't seen it fire, great fun. Coaxial Firestorm, the dual, one of the best dual fire weapons. Actually, I think Kix has built for a long time. I like it a lot. And for people getting to tier 5, the price pack, Vendetta, a nuts hull, love it, brilliant fun. And Zoe Apollo, which was a crazy amount of points in the raid to get that. Okay, they got a long build time, but so what? But the Vendetta hasn't, and look what you're getting. You're going to get 10 days worth of build tokens. And I don't know, we'll sort of quickly start that. I don't know if I'm just finished off this thing. Like I said, I'm not building it, I'm just refitting it because I'm waiting to build my ghost crawler and I've got nothing else to do, so I'm just adding a thing on it. But I don't know if I've got a Vendetta build anymore. I haven't. Oh, there you go. So complete one complete hull. So I've changed that now because that was my original. but obviously now you can counter the fire fields now. So I changed that basically for. It's not so you can go for this one here, combustion system 2, if you want to. It still fits the weights bang on, that sort of stuff, you know. That works quite nicely. I've seen other people play around as well, just out of interest if you want to, where just do this and just get out to blah 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 mortars, where they fire on judgments instead, you know, which I think are a little bit heavier. I'm probably 550 versus 400, yeah, so they're a little bit different. But if you knock that down and then put on, where is she? Where is she? Where is she? There we are. Then you gain a little bit of weight advantage as well, so you can then. I think it might be better. Can I get squeeze one more in? Yeah, there you go. So that's feasible then. So you're getting, you know, and what's nice about when the countermeasures fire at you, you've got two different weapons here. One that MIRVs, which is great, and that sort of stuff, so it splits and drops more droplets and that sort of stuff. But also the arc rates are different. The reloads aren't bad on either of them, that sort of stuff, you know. But the arcs are different, so you're getting one set of morts come in early and a second set of morts come in afterwards. So the countermeasures are already fired and set off one set, and then the other sets hopefully can sneak through. So that's what I've been doing, on particularly on my citadels as well. As I've been mixing around my mortars, I'm finding I'm getting a much better effect. I think that's a cracking hull. And if you get to this tier 5, you are absolutely laughing. You are getting, you know, one instantly built. Absolutely instantly built. You know, and the fact that, you know, it's a gizzard. And even if you don't want to use it out on the sea straight away and wait for the other ones, well, as I've said, you know, two rounds of tier 5 and the FM is going to get you another one of these built. You know, you're going to get a half round as well in this week's coming raid FM as well. So you have the potential to get 3 done before the raid even starts, which I think is an absolutely stunning thing. Clearly, what you haven't got is reload, but you know, it's great news. I think it's fantastic. Anyway, I think absolutely hats off to them this week. I think they've done an excellent update. Apart from I'm not going to, like 21 minutes. Apart from I'm not going to comment on the Hyperion FM, TLC, because I can't, because I've never actually taken part in it. All I do know is, from what I've heard, is you do round 1, and the prize you get in round 1, you need to put it on your ship straight away to be able to do round 2, because it makes it really, really hard if you don't. I don't know if that's a fact. I'm not sure. Anyway, so I'm just going to crash this because I'm not even messing around now. I just want to get it done. There you go. I couldn't be any lazy to try with it. Yeah, hats off this week. Quite impressed. I see the mood, and I can judge the mood in the game just by the amounts of admin I've got to do on the TFC page. And at the moment, I'm not having to do about anything because people are generally quite content. Come on, come on, come on. So, 3 o'clock, 5 hours till shard time. So the shards actually, just out of interest, okay mate, yeah. Cheers buddy, take care. Yeah Mike, I think you're right, there's a lot of chores. There's a lot of chores in this game. There is. And I suppose if you want to get ahead, you do need to do nearly all of them. But some of the stuff you don't need to do, like whoever needs to go and get fragments for tiger sharks, well, anybody I suppose that doesn't have the Hellwraith. But if you have the Hellwraith, you may as well not bother, because there's nothing much that ship can't do, you know. And it's like getting fragments for a Rhino when you've got Apollos. You know, the Rhinos are great, but they've had their day. You know, they're hanging in there and that sort of stuff, but I don't see even getting them through the foundry is going to make them any better. Not to the level that's worth the effort of doing it, in my mind. I think I'm getting less damage just crashing these than I am actually driving. Well, I am driving, but you know, look at that. I mean, we're early on. We're on stage 4 already. I should have just done this straight away. I'm probably going to do the whole freaking lot. Stu's gone now. This is the Stu's method of doing BP. If he's on, he's probably going to say something, but this is Monster's view of battle pirates. Drive and smash it. Get it over and done with, painless as possible. This is uber lazy, this is not what I mean normally. But I'm just got things to get on with as well. I'll show you my build in a bit, mate, if you want to have a look. But mine's all obviously all blades, so I'm not using switchblades. I've never touched switchblades and that sort of stuff, so. But we'll smash this out, and then, because what's that, 4 done, is it? But there you go, so, there you go. That's the, can you see all that? Yeah, you can. So, I had to put 2 Harriers on there just for the weight. But there we go. So that's the first one. Everything's at R15. That could be R15. So that's my tank version, obviously. So it's got obviously just the cannons there, because obviously get a bit better defense buffs and that sort of stuff. 3% across each, obviously, each of the spectrums there. And that's my normal Apollos. And I got 2 D5 for the obviously the penetrative defense as well, so it gives me a bit more assault and a bit more siege deflection, and then some D1Ms as well. So some 2 D5s and some D1Ms, and obviously I've got the extra penetrative damage there, and everything's at R15, like I said, you know, which is quite handy. You know. And those I think are all the same right across the board. Yeah, they are. Let's not hang around too long because I'm just going to get sniped. But it's a build that, you know, and I've not changed it at all. I haven't changed it from the day I built it. I didn't go switchblade just because the fact that that was the second, I think the second iteration of things that were multi-functional, you know, and the first one wasn't very impressive. I can't actually remember the first item was, but I was like, no, I'm not doing that switchblade. I've got blades, I know they work, I know how Phalanx 4 works. So that's what I'm using, and I'm glad I did. And Liam actually mentioned that if he was to start again, he would have never put switchblades on his things. Although, when they're ranked up, I have to say, they are very good. You know, when your ship's ranked up and that sort of stuff, and you amalgamate them with, you know, other things like phalanxes and a couple of blades. But in all honesty, you shouldn't have to do that with a weapon that's designed specifically for a hull. It's tailor-made for the hull, and yet you have to drive in a completely different way. Hey, Huggo, how you doing, mate? Just chewing the fat air, mate, just basically talking shit as I do. Just smashing out this last. Why am I driving? Anyway, oh sorry, I'll just freaking smash it. One thing I noticed, by the way, these HCs that come under these, obviously the bloody scatterguns on them. When I was in the raid, I found that, you know, they were really fast and that sort of stuff. If you drive directly at them, you get inside their targeting range and they can't shoot you. They stop firing. So whilst, you know, those people couldn't outrun them, that sort of stuff, they were trying to run away and they were getting splatted several times, I just bull rushed them and stayed with them. And they just let off one round and then I just kept following them. Yeah, usual, talking shit, yeah, that's me. And then it just let off the one round, so, you know, that was quite a... Not nice to find it in the very last raid, but, you know, of the set. But, blimey, we're getting through this quite quick, aren't we? Yeah, Jeff, mate. Yeah, it's your way. That's bull in a china shop way, you mean. I'm just going to crash through this now, because I won't be surprised if I kill off my fleet in the whole... within the last couple of rounds, so... I'm bothered, to be honest. I've done the softly approach. Let's do the bull in the china shop approach. Let's monster it. Yeah, so look at this one here. If I go in tight to this one here, look. Get to there, look. Now it's trying to avoid me, because I'm inside its firing range and it can't do anything. It's just trying to get away from me now. Look. I mean, I can't fire either, because I'm so close. But it can't fire. But I've got little cannons, obviously my lead Apollo. And there you go, it's dead. And it couldn't do anything. I can show you the same thing here. Look. So it splatted once. Now it's turning to run away. Oh, and it can't do anything. Yeah, it's good news, mate, isn't it, to be honest? I mean, anybody should be able to do that. Yeah, Mike, that was by pure chance, by the way. I found that out about the HCs. But it definitely works. You can just hunt them down and then just stick with them. And like I said, you saw I had a couple of cannons then. But even if your inside range is your inside range of your own weapons, look how lazy that was. Their scatter inner range is still greater than yours for the switchblades and for the blade missile. So you can actually get them, which is great when you start doing that. You know, the 91s and that sort of stuff. The 91s don't do much damage, but rather than messing around and doing the turn and chase, just charge them. Or for the fast ones anyway. Which may come back in the future. I don't know. We'll see. They didn't endow themselves with much love on that last raid set, I have to say. People weren't overly impressed. Although I did manage to get the A set down, I think, for 4 coins in the end. Although it was 2 targets. I think I did a 4 coin and a 2 coin, I think I got it down to in the end. Look how lazy this is. So, fleet number 32. So there you go. This is just getting close to this epoxy thing. I've got to charge this one here. Oh, stop dying so fast. So this is the standard old raid mega, isn't it, this one? This is the old format, which if I was doing it in the FM, sorry, if I was doing it in the old raid, I could do for free as an instant fix. Not driving this method, mind. I just want to get it done. I'm just crashing into everything. But it shows the resilience of obviously what the Zolu's Apollo can do. Look. It's a cracking hull, it really is. It makes the, you know, and I've already built the Saga's Punisher as well in readiness for what I think is going to be something that's coming up in about 2 months' time. And all these lead holes, I always build them as tanks. I never build them as anything but. You know, I up the armour on them and I up the resistance figures on them greater than the main holes, because obviously they're in the lead, they're going to take the first punch, and you want them to stay to the end, don't you? So, yeah, Mike, I agree. yeah, the Apollo is an absolute game changer. The Zoe Apollo isn't a game changer. It just means your fleet's going to last a little longer. And I mean, look, I'm just over a quarter dead, and you know I couldn't drive any worse if I tried. I'm just clicking, aren't I? Couldn't really. You know, this is like day one of driving school, isn't it? It's just rubbish. I just want to see how much damage I'm going to get. Does that have interest? I'm not even down to half yet. I'm nearly done. Oh, we're done. It's in. Finished. There we go. Right. That's it. Price pack finished. Like I say, I've got all the holes anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So what's the repair time on that one? So just over 3.5 hours. That wasn't bad for a really horrendous bit of driving, was it? Bear in mind, I have got dust on that. It hasn't run out already. Has it run out or not? It's got 7 minutes left, so okay. Right, before finally come and snipes my fleet, let me just get back in. There we go. So it's just over. You know, it's 7 coins plus a 1 minute wait, 1 minute bit in the wait. Whatever, we're just going to do it slow time. So yeah. So just to confirm then. So because this one's a tank, I've only just put the solid bolster fuel 3 on it just to give the range the same distance, and that's I had a bit of weight spare, so I just put a Harrier on it. I've actually could have probably just put another impact can on it, to be honest. Made it a bit stronger. Probably should have done that. Done right. But all the stats are the same, and it's got extra buffs, so it didn't need massive amounts of armor. But obviously those things are a godsend for Alex Force. And then obviously the standard Apollo for me, and that's what I went with, and I made them quite strong. A lot of people didn't armor them. It's up to them, to be honest. But yeah, so that's yeah. So we can have a look at a bit of future stuff if you want to. So here's my Punisher fleet. So this is ready to go. So this is my standard FM fleet. This is nails. This bit, it's ridiculously strong. I can absolutely do both runs of the FM with this fleet, which I normally, to be honest, I take that out because before I had that, and then basically sit in the corner, I'd stick that, and then that's so that's you know, that's what fleet used to be like, you know, and then obviously, you know, plus 90 on the building damage, that sort of stuff, but also you know, it was my defense stats were crazy. So penetrative deflection 87%, which is reasonable, that sort of stuff. But obviously you're getting a boost as well. Or you can go if you wanted to for you know, the armor go, which I've chucked with my sense, and then get ballistic reload as well. But I find I didn't need it. But now obviously we've got this one up and running. So that's a bit I've got on there. So siege battery on that one there. Sorry, in fact, quickly, you'll notice then that I've got frontline countermeasure system on this one. Okay, but I've got siege targeting. Okay, frontline countermeasure system on that one. Okay, and that one, and that one. Now, what you can do sometimes, bearing in mind that that gives you an extra range, doesn't it, on your countermeasures? What you can do is go for siege battery 3. And if you go for siege battery 3, that gives you 2 different countermeasure range capabilities. So while the first lot of countermeasures can fire and take out the first lot of incoming, obviously they're expended and done. And then by the time they finish firing, then if you have 2 ships with siege battery 3 on it, then they'll, if the missiles get through the first battery, defense battery, the ones with the siege battery on, they'll start firing because their range is far less. So then you've got twice as many chances then to shoot down obviously the incoming missiles and that sort of stuff. But that's not so good for when you're receiving mortars, because mortars obviously with the splash effect, you want to try and get them as far away from your ships as possible. So if they do drop outside the range of the the frontline countermeasure system, then you shouldn't get a splash effect at all. But obviously for Siege Battery 3, when they get through, then you're going to get probably the full splash effect. So that's the way it is. But like I said, just quickly flick on this one here. So I've got 21,000 armor points there, damage at 19,000. So you times that by 5, yeah, I'm over 100,000 damage. I put one railgun on these, by the way, because Earthshakers are excellent and that sort of stuff. Well, at killing turrets, they're just not very good getting through walls. But slamming a railgun on, although Earthshakers aren't as accurate, as soon as you put one railgun in it, you smash the wall down, and then all of a sudden the Earthshakers absolutely annihilate the turrets. They're really, really good. And obviously the good thing about using the Earthshaker is the fact that you're going to get you get a buff, obviously, to your defense stats, which is absolutely brilliant. It makes a huge difference. Your armor points go up 500 every time, so it does make a big difference. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there you go. So that's 3.5k in armor points for a freebie, which is nice. It's a good fleet. It's really fast as well. Going to move in there 37 with turn speed of 31. So it's works really, really well. Targets. So this raid format will be around until the spring. It ain't going anywhere. They're not in a rush. They just made a slight amendment, which they did say, during the time, whether the targets stay the same, they might amend them slightly, but the format will stay the same until the spring. So if you haven't even built Punishers now, it's still definitely worth doing. Particularly obviously for base parts and that sort of stuff, and you can several people make them multi. A multi sort of fleet doing various different things, but for getting your base parts for doing dubs and that sort of stuff. But to be honest, I've stopped hitting dubs a long time ago. I've found them to be an absolute freaking noise. Pretty good idea if I fix that, wouldn't it? So let's get rid of that. Whoops. Thing. Dismiss that. We only got 2 minutes left on it. I'm sorry, I'm not going to coin it, but for 30 coins is wasting money. We'll just press start on that because only quarter past 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm still within an hour's time before the next shard recycle comes up. That's it. Yeah, puns will still be great, mate. Yeah, no, don't worry about that at all. They've got absolutely no intention of changing things. And if the 109s come back in, by the way, that's my 109 fleet. Well, tell a lie, actually, because I would take that out. And what I do is I take that out of my base defense fleet and replace it with another ship as well. And then I slide that then basically into there. And then I've got a Punisher tank, which is that one there, which can take an absolute pounding. It's brilliant. And it's obviously considerably quicker than the Citadels as well. So basically when I go into the 109s, I go in at a forked attack approach, basically maximum distance on my Citadels, which are slowly becoming quite well up in the Foundry, which is good because you get a massive boost range on your let's have a quick look. I can't remember what it is, but let's have a look at it down here. So is it 200 or something like that? Come on, let's have a quick look. Penetrating, yeah, splash goes up to 50%, which is great. Remote targeting range, here it comes. Probably a bit small for you to see. Yeah, so remote targeting range fall off 0. So you get absolutely no reduction then on your remote targeting range, which is brilliant as far as I'm concerned. Your siege DPS goes up as well, which is okay. Your explosive defense goes up as well, which is good news. Penetrative defense goes up as well. So slowly, I'm just hitting the everyday FM targets and just letting this happen in slow time. I'm not in a rush for it, to be honest. So yeah, so that could be Tuesday's update. You're right, actually. So they'll make a decision now, or they might make a decision this week on what the 2 top targets are. Whether they're going to, I sent a ticket back in asking them to retain the 107 and basically let bases up to level 100 spawn those from 90 to 100, and then from 100 up spawn the 109s. and then basically we can have both systems, and they're both cycled through, and then both obviously once one gets killed, it'll respawn as opposed to the switch between each ones. I'm not so sure the 102 is going to come. I don't think we're going to get one, to be honest. I don't think. Well, they may do it for the. Yeah, that's another thing they could do. They could put a 102 in, which would be worth what, 70k, something like that. And they might bring that in then for just about, what, 70k, 80k maybe. Was it 110? Just over 110, wasn't it, for the 109? So it needs to be around 70 or 80k, doesn't it? So they may bring that in for a week as well and preview that one, which would be interesting because it should be a little bit easier than a 107. But no one's really struggling overly with 107s anyway, because a lot of people just obviously rocket in the 2 towers and stopping those bloody Merv rockets taking off and that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's a possibility. But my suggestion was basically kill off the the 107 is, but obviously a 102 needs to be something around to, but I said they keep the 107. If they're going to the 102s and that sort of stuff, it needs to be a reasonable amount. Not much less, 60 maybe, I don't know, 50 to 60, not too little. Depends what they want to do. I mean, what the mistake they haven't done, I don't think they set the right numbers for the 109, because the 109 at the moment, it's 110. Well, that's 3 and a bit targets, isn't it? It needs to be like 115 or just 117 or something like that, and then you just got to hit 3 targets and your FM's finished. But at the moment you've got to hit 3 and something, which is bloody annoying, whereas currently at the moment, the 107s, you're 5 and you're done sort of stuff. So that needs slight adjustment as far as I'm concerned. And then, so if you're going to hit a 102, so if it's 5 targets for that, you need to hit, what, 9 targets? Is that fair? So then divide the 350 million by 9, and then, which is not exactly hard to do, is it? And that's a fair, and then what the damage is going to be, God only knows. Someone's even got a Merving rocket there or something like that, and too much friggin' sneaky plasma damage is what they did in the 109s initially, wasn't it? Anyway, not to worry, I think we're done. So yeah, let's wait for the update on Tuesday. Let's see what comes. I'm looking forward to starting my my next bit of hitting the Reavers. It will be the 127s next, won't it? Because we're on to the 3rd one now, so it'll be moving from 126 to 127. So that'll indicate that it's going to be moving to the Ghostcrawler shards. And like I said, for me, fortunately, my Ghostcrawler shards, I am in a good position because I only need 10. Woohoo! So I need 5 targets, and then that little baby will be fixing a building, because my ship's that's on a refit finishes in 2.5 hours. So it's timed quite nicely for me. Yeah. I hope so. So yeah, if we can get something around about 10, 8, 10, I think people will be generally happy. But I just need to make sure their maths is done so it's the exact number of targets, not like with a fraction left over, because I think that's bloody stupid, to be honest. We'll see. Right, I'm going to end it there. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, everybody, and if I don't speak to you beforehand, then I'll speak to you obviously on the show on Tuesday night. Take care, and thanks for taking the time to come on in. Okay, cheers.